I am your host, Maximilian Thor von Neumann, aka Formal Casting, joined today by both George and Zoe, who are each here to provide analysis as well as calling the action. Unfortunately, Mitch will not be here today. He is unfortunately a little under the weather, but that's okay. We're still going to have a lot of fun today as our match is going to be between Canterbury College and Kelvin Grove 2. Now, there's going to be a lot on the line as each of these teams are vying for some of those last spots in the top 16, aka the knockoff stage. And with only really this being the last week, it's sort of do or die for both these teams.
Yeah. I would like to see how they decide to head into this final game because it is the most important game of their season to lock in that final placement or to lock in a better seeding for the playoffs. So it'll be very important to see what kind of strategy they've been holding to, unleash at these final games.
Yep. That said as well, Canterbury actually did elect to come to the school to play today, which is a little bit unusual, but something we of course welcome here at the University of Queensland. So naturally, when they were here, they had a tour of the school, they got to see everything, got to enjoy themselves, and we even brought them into the studio for a little bit of an interview, one which we're going to take you to now. Be warned, I do introduce myself again in case you missed it, so keep that in mind as you have a little watch for this interview. Hello everybody, Maximilian Thor von Neumann, aka Formal here, and I'm actually joined by a couple special guests today. Coming from Canterbury College, we have teacher Kenta and player Pink Coat, who will be playing later today actually against Kelvin Grove 2 in our streamed match, so pretty exciting stuff. And today they've each come to sort of have a chat about what it's like playing for an esports team in a high school environment, as well as, I guess, talking about sportsmanship and why that's important out there on the Rift. So first of all, thank you guys for coming in. How have you been finding the university so far?
Great, thank you for having us. It's been great. I mean, it's the first time for some of these students to come to University of Queensland, experience university life and see the quality of the facilities here, so that's been great. I know they've liked it, so yeah.
And how about the student? How do you think of you?
I'm so thankful that University of Queensland and the Canterbury College can support me. This a great opportunity for me. I'm just grateful for everyone who watched this live.
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah.
That's great. So, I guess continuing on with sort of the experiences that you've been having, especially playing at the high school, obviously esports is still a new thing in high school. It's something that I didn't get to have. George greatly benefited from it, going nearly all the way. For yourself, how has that been, sort of this experience?
This experience for me is really memorable experience, and it might be one of the treasures for me of my whole life, because being this competition, I can recognize more friends and just give me more challenges, can make me more better than before. Yeah.
I think for me at the school, like you said, it has been challenging. This is the first year we've had any kind of esports at the school. And it was kind of my idea. I proposed it last year, and it was welcomed by our principal, which was great, and we had a huge interest. I wasn't quite expecting the number of students that were interested. So we've had a huge number of students, and it's inclusive kind of at Canterbury. So anyone who any skill level can come along. So we have year 7, so 12 years old, come along and they've never played the game before. And so then we have these guys, quite experienced. So we have this huge range of students there, and it's great to have these guys. We have an esports club every Thursday, and these guys will come along as well. And the younger kids really look up to these guys. So they'll have to come in. We use that opportunity to review game footage, and they come in and watch them, and they're quite captivated, I think, by these guys and their skills. So
I think it's really cool, actually, when we're seeing this sort of transition almost from more traditional sports, I suppose, to esports, because there's a lot of similarities with this. I'm actually going to touch back to my own experiences back in the States in high school. What you're describing is almost similar to how the American football players are perceived. They're the ones who everyone from the school always kind of looked up to. It's there's the players who we see Friday night go out there, and there's the star quarterback, or I guess now it's look, there's the star mid laner from the team. I saw him make those great plays that night before, and you sort of, from what it sounds like, get that same sense of bonding that the school can come around this sort of e-sport now, and it's become almost an identity for the school. Do you sort of see that happening?
Well, it's still early days. I mean, we've been running. We're in term 2 now. We started it in
also me.
last term.
Also me, because at the beginning of the esports development, the people think playing game is kind of with the time, it's with your life. But with the time update, now I'm joining the esports team. My parents has been really happy that you are choosing the one hobby that you love it and you want to make the effort of it. So it's been really great to see the sense of the e-sport now.
Yeah, I like that. That's one good thing I'd like to say as well is it gives the opportunity for those students at our school, you know, who aren't athletic or maybe really academic, so they don't go to the math competitions. They give them something that they're interested in, and they can represent the college and make friends as well. So that's a good thing about our club, because we've got students from year 7 to 12. They actually bond and talk to each other at different ages, which is great.
So how about your team? Because have you known your teammates from before, and how have you come to develop this relationship between everyone and communication?
We usually play together in the Flex Pink during the Sunday. So with my old teammate, they just sitting
Everyone
on.
off stage.
Everyone's off stage.
Everyone's sitting on here.
Yeah.
And did you have any practice with everyone? Like, or was it just Flex? You got any scrims going on?
Yes, we also play the solo each other, like to develop the ability when you facing the strong enemy, the
Tough teams.
top team, tough guys.
Yeah.
So we usually that's what we usually do.
So it's interesting you bring that up, because talking to you guys and having looked at the schedule, I know you've come up against a lot of the teams on the top of the ladder, and those games have been close. Like, a lot of so close. If one more thing have gone our way, maybe we would have had this different outcome. And with playoffs just around the corner right now, I believe, according to the standings, you guys are definitely in that top 16, but maybe a loss today, you'd be more towards the bottom, and you could be against one of those top teams again. If you win, you'll probably have an easier first round. How important is today's game, and how have you guys been keeping strong mental moving forward throughout this tournament?
Actually, it's so important, because just like what you say, when we are facing to the SPCC and Kelvin Grove 4 and SPS, isn't it?
SPS.
SPS. We are playing really closely, because I don't think the ability of line is weak with them. Opposite, I think we're both better than them, because I'm playing the League of Legends since season 2. So now it's season 9. I've played this game for 7 years. I really know about this game. Same with my old teammate. So I think if we can just go back to the top, we really want to fit to SPCC or the top team. We fit to them again and we beat them.
I think, the kind of notion between our team, we want that opportunity again to verse those top teams, because even though they're the top teams, there'll be hard games if we rematch against them, in the seedings later on. They want the challenge to try and make up for it. But it does give us confidence, I think, that in those games, like Pinkcoat was saying, they were very close. I mean, so if we do match up with them in the finals later on in the seedings, it does give us confidence. There was just one or two things we can go back and have a look at, and we can adjust and then improve and be ready next time.
And with these tough losses, because it's a very close game, how has your team kind of communicated and talked to overcome this loss and to play better next time? Any strategy talking or anything?
I think that's a fact we still need to improve a lot, because we just team this team. The history of this team is not enough than half year, and I think when we failed, when we know this game already lost, we just keep thinking, what's the champion we are choosing? What's the new strategy we are going to counter the next team? And for example, I was doing some mistake when I was lying, or the my liner or the top liner. We are doing the self-expect ourselves to see in this part the control the minion. Is that control the minion?
Minions?
Yes, like control the minion, something like that.
Wave control.
We keep to improving this fact.
I think as part of it as well, because this is the first year for one at Canterbury we've had esports offered, and first time we've been in this competition. Now it's been going for a few years. We put these guys together. They've played with each other kind of casually, solo queue, that kind of thing. But putting them together in quite a fast fashion, like Pincoat said, we didn't have a lot of time to practice. So I think the development has been happening and the communication has gotten better. And we've worked on the communication side by meeting regularly after matches and analysing and talking about, hey, well, what happened here? Let's communicate. What can we do better? So we've been breaking that down more often now.
I think too, like that communication as well as the coming together also helps bring that sort of team unity, which is also important because you are representing your school and you always want to put not just your best performance out there, but your best attitude as well, like showing that sportsmanship.
Actually, we are playing the normal league game. We use our 70% effort, but in the game we usually put 120%.
Exactly.
Because we really want to win every game.
Yeah.
Good.
That is the correct attitude. Yeah. And I guess continuing on with the point that I have as well is, when you're out there representing yourself, it's always important to be representing your best self for both you as well as your school. And that's something I feel you guys have done a very good job of at this tournament. And I want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
Sort of just trying to say, because as we're going to be discussing a bit more later today about sportsmanship and it's important, this is one of those schools that I feel has really exemplified that so far. So on that note, I'd like to thank you each for coming in. And if you have any parting words you'd like to say?
Just thank you to UQ and everyone, all the schools involved and all the students for participating and creating this opportunity for us all to compete and have fun.
Yeah. For me, I want thanks for my teacher, Mr. Smithu, and thanks for my school, thanks for the University of Queensland. But also, I'm really thankful for my old teammate. They keep fighting with me. We are the one team.
Awesome. Well, thank you again both very much, and good luck with your match today against Kelvin Grove too. It's going to be a fun one. I look forward to watching it. I expect to see a strong performance from both sides because I do know that KG2 has a lot to play for, which I will be going over later today. So on that note, thank you each very much. Good luck today, and please enjoy the esports room where you'll be playing. It's a fun little faculty over there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back after that interview. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, as cliche as that sounds. It was a fun one, and I'm really excited to see Canterbury perform today. I do feel like they are probably going to be the more favored team into their matchup against Kelvin Grove too. That said, though, there are some other topics that I want to talk about before we get into the nitty-gritties of this game, which was kind of hinted in that interview, which is sportsmanship and its effects in both a competitive environment as well as your own solo queue, and why it's important to have that good attitude. Now, I know each of you are players who have probably, experienced both sides of positive and negative sportsmanship, and how have you felt that's affected each of your play?
Well, first of all, it affects yourself, right? To communicate as a team, even if you just give a nice after every play you make, it brings positivity to the team and you just work better. And I personally found if someone said nice after I make a good play, I get confident myself. And it just definitely don't be negative. If you lose games, you tilt, and tilt is one of the biggest downsides of league. You get anger management issues, and even in real life, you can feel down. So teamwork, sportsmanship, just be positive, really.
I have to agree with you there. I find that it really impacts you as well as the rest of the team. Good sportsmanship, bad sportsmanship, even if it's not coming from you yourself. If everyone's got a negative mindset, that can really bring you down, and it can be harder to keep such a positive mentality in your games because you kind of want to be there for the whole team. And so you want to try and stay, as sportsmanlike as you can yourself, but it's a little hard in the face of the rift when everyone's getting a little bit heated. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, doesn't look like Poppy enjoyed that. But I do kind of mirroring those sentiments as well. It kind of does go both ways. Everyone, when they think of poor sportsmanship as well, they tend to think of, that player who's getting angry and typing mean things because they're losing a lot. Or, they could be having a bad game themselves and laying it out. But it does go both ways. There is such thing as being a poor winner as well, and almost getting too overconfident in yourself and your own abilities and just being no one do anything, don't come to my lane, I got this 1v9. And then once you adopt that mentality, maybe you're a Fed Kha'Zix or Rengar and that's helping you, but I also feel that can also bring your team down.
So it'll be interesting to see how these teams go because both these teams have suffered wins and losses. So it'll be interesting to see how they've come through as a team and then communicating with each other, going through the wins, celebrating, and then going through the losses, revising the strategy and just talking about it and bringing the team spirit back up because, losses are tough. So it'll be interesting to see how they will face off each other.
Yeah, it definitely is. And with a lot on the line as well, I think it is time we start to take a look at these two teams, starting with Canterbury. They're coming into this currently, believe, sitting in 6th place in the standings as we take a look right there. In the top lane, it will be the Shyyyy, Jungle, Pyromaniac, MarRin in the mid lane, Pink Coke in the AD carry position, and Tiara 18 in support. Now, the thing about this team that I liked when doing my research on them was they're very versatile. They have an ability, like they have the wide champion pool, they have an ability to adapt their strategies as they improve, something that Pink Coat kind of hinted at when they were talking before. So it's hard to pin down what they like to do. I mean, personally, when I look at them, I'm looking at their top laner and their jungler in specific. So the Shyyyy, going to try and emulate the Shyyyy, and Pyromaniac as well.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of team comp, because as Canterbury has the wide champion pool, they can have a lot of variance in their team composition depending on if they want to go for a fast, easy win or if they want to scale to the late game. So it'd be interesting to see how they adapt to the opponent, KG2's picks, and choosing their team comps overall.
Yeah, as you were saying with Canterbury, they seem to have a lot of variety in their team picks. But when you look at KG2, they seem to have a little less flex in who they're picking, and mainly have 1 or 2 champions they really like to stick to. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Yeah,
it definitely will be as we take a look at KG2 right now. The top laner is Slyce, the jungler Rowdey, RetroSkyes in the mid lane, Saeryka on AD carry, and Septimus49 in support. Now, this is the team that really needs to win if they want to secure that top 16. If they do fall today, they will be going into a tiebreaker next week. And as you were saying, Zoe, and then I want to embellish more, they're very much a team of almost one tricks when they play competitively. They have their champion that they like. And while that's good to be really strong on a specific champion, it does leave you vulnerable to that ban, as we know, which that could be very important, correct?
Yeah, because in these types of games, you will be seeing target bans to the teams because they won't be expecting much of a champion pool in these kind of high school teams. So target banning, getting you off that comfort pick is the most important thing. One of the things, best things you can do in champion select is secure you, just give you that little bit more advantage in the game.
And so I guess carrying on from that, considering you're going to have to assume there's going to be a couple bans directed to some of KG2's players, where do you think they want to try and prioritize? Who do you want to give those comfort picks onto, knowing what they are?
I think that they'd want to try and get their their priority picks to some of their laners who are strongest in their roles. Yeah. Having a look at it, they're top in their jungle, yeah. They're playing off-role and they're not necessarily a top or jungle main. Yeah. So they might be wanting to try and get the stronger bot lane, mid lane to try and get a lead over their opponents.
Yeah, that is something I want to bring up too, because there actually are a few off-role players. As you mentioned, KG2's top and jungle are playing off-role. The same thing can be said about Canterbury's support as well. I believe he's more typically a jungle as well when I was doing my research. But the point is, we have some off-roles coming into this one, which definitely can affect how a team plays. As a result, I do expect Canterbury to play more around the top and mid side, while KG2 puts more focus perhaps on that bot lane.
It'll be also interesting to see how KG2 adapts, because they're off-role and they're main champions, they're one tricks. So to pick that champion that you're not comfortable with, you'll tend to play more passive around the laning phase, and that's when the opponent team, Canterbury, can get their leads, secure the leads, because if they don't know how to play the lane, they'll fall behind, and sometimes in these type of games, the game just snowballs. It'll be very interesting to see how they can stabilize with a champion they're not familiar with.
Especially when you take a look at Pyromaniac's champ pool as well. He definitely likes to play some of those more snowbally champions. I don't want to divulge too much into it because we don't want to give away picks and bans before we get into it. We've seen that mistake made in the past, but they do sort of like their snowbally champs. They do like their snowbally team compositions, and historically they have played more around the mid and the top side. So I expect to see more of the same, and that's why I feel coming into this, it's very important for KG2 to try and control that jungle as much as possible. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Rowdey this game, the jungler for KG2, and if he can get maybe an early jungler and maybe match or even out-tempo Pyromaniac, KG2 might have a chance for that upset. That said, if I were a betting person, unfortunately for KG2, I'd be leaning more towards Canterbury in this one.
It's definitely favored towards Canterbury, but it really just depends how the player's mindset is bringing into this game. The final games in the split, so I want to see some interesting picks, some strategies they haven't shown before, and just how they will close the game, because sometimes in these type of games they find trouble closing out the game. So very interesting to see how they go.
Yeah, KG2 has been on stream before. We saw them play against the Chisholm Chiefs, and during that game, they actually had an all right start. Yes, they were getting jungled, but they were keeping it relatively close until they actually got a pick on the support laner of Chisholm, I believe, in the bot side river. And they thought, oh great, Dragon. However, they did not have Baron warded. And actually Chisholm responded with a very quick Baron, and then they sort of just knew how to close the game from there. It was something that Chisholm did very strong. And that's something I'd like to see out of Canterbury as well, as we are moving to our picks and bans. So we are getting underway right now. Canterbury on the blue side, right away taking away Darius.
Taking away the Darius, just shifting their focus towards the top side a little. Maybe giving the Shyyyy his comfort picks. Darius counters pretty much every single tank in the top lane right now, so maybe we could be seeing a tankier top laner from the Shyyyy.
I also know that the Shyyyy did struggle against SPCC Colors Darius in a recent match. I believe it was that, or maybe in KG4. The point is, he recently had a bad experience against the Darius, so not surprised to see that taking away. That said, Fiora and Rammus actually being banned out. I'm a bit surprised by that Rammus ban.
Rammus has actually been terrorizing solo queue for the last 2 patches because of the prevalence of AD team comps currently, and a bunch of just new champions like Riven, the Conqueror. Everyone's playing AD. Rammus has been tearing apart the Diamond Elo jungle.
And then we're seeing 2 top bans coming out of KG2 as well. Fiora, as mentioned, and now Renekton. So it definitely seems that KG2 has identified Maserati, or in this case, the Shyyyy, as being sort of that focal point for Canterbury. So they're going after him. Katarina ban.
I'm assuming that this is a target towards the main. But back to that point about banning top lane, I would assume that normally top lane you would leave for the 4th or 5th pick, as top lane is that isolated island where you really want to get the safe counter pick. But then in this case, they're triple banning top already in the first phase. So I would like to see what KG2 responds with to the Rakan pick.
Yeah, Rakan is the priority first pick, and I feel they're definitely going to be trying to force, I believe, KG2 onto a Xayah. Like, that's the only reason why I think you would be doing that pick. And I don't believe Saeryka is actually a Xayah player. The response is going to be more support, actually. We're seeing that Sona hover. That is a comfort pick for Septimus, so I do expect that to be locked in. But now you're in this situation. Do you get rid of the Lovers duo, or do you prioritize this jungle, which is going to be so critical for your team?
Well, he actually locked in
Camille. So that's a bit of a last-minute change.
But it's also a comfort pick for Slyce right there. So we can see the not targeting their main. So they are picking their comfort picks with Sona and Camille in the first phase. Yep,
so they are going for that. So no junglers locked in. A bit of a surprise, because normally jungle seems to be one of those high-priority picks just because of how much tempo they control in a game. But we're seeing the Sona taken, which is a comfort pick for Septimus. Camille is a comfort pick for Dice, which is very important because he is playing off role, so he really needed to get someone he is comfortable on. And I really feel as if KG2 is worried about this top lane matchup just because of all of those bans you see at the top lane. You're prioritizing your top lane comfort pick. I feel like Canterbury should be recognizing how KG2 is almost playing afraid of the top side and should be looking to get aggressive. Kaisa locked in meanwhile, so they're not going with the Lovers duo.
Kaisa recently, I'm not too sure how strong she is. She is still definitely a top tier ADC, but with the Gunsu's nerf, it's definitely toned her down a little. But that being said, Kaisa with Rakan is still a deadly duel at level 6 with the Rakan engage into the Kaisa all in from the brush maybe. And we've seen Vladimir and Zoe. Now Vladimir is a late game top laner or mid laner, so we could be seeing this Canterbury shifting towards that late game team comp, while Zoe locked in for KG2, which is also the comfort pick of RetroSkyes.
Yeah, we're actually seeing, to be honest right now, I'm very surprised how this pick and ban is going, because at the start of the game, as I tend to do, I try to predict where the picks and bans are going to go, what we're going to see. And so far, 5 of the 6 picks we have seen have been comfort picks for the specific champions. The Shyyyy does love his Vladimir, Pink Coat does love his Kaisa, and I feel like this is very strong for Canterbury College, because not only are these comfort picks, but these are more meta picks as well. Like, these are strong champions at the moment, as we see Poppy and Blitzcrank brand away. I feel as if each team is getting exactly what they wanted so far.
Yeah. I feel like it's maybe a bit of lack of research, or maybe just disrespect, but definitely with KG2's team comp, I'm seeing more of a sort of pick and lock sort of team comp, with Zoe sleep bubbles to one-shot someone, with Camille to lock down someone, while Canterbury College playing their confidence for that late game, for the AoE engage.
As we're finally seeing a couple jungle bans at the end there, Rek'Sai and Rengar taken away. Again, Rek'Sai I know is super strong at the moment. Rengar can be in the hands of the right player, but once again, a comfort pick going over for KG2. That will be the Caitlyn for Saeryka, one of their mains actually, and really it's just sort of like going down the list, you know, comfort pick, comfort pick, comfort pick. Lee Sin, another comfort pick for Pyromaniac. It's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, everyone's getting their comfort. So this will be the battle of the one tricks. So we just see who's better on their champion mechanically and mentally, while having that game knowledge to know what to do. And, you know, the matchup of Caitlyn versus Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa do not have that long range of Caitlyn's. She definitely has the early laning phase of Caitlyn Sona's harass. And then Rakan, not the very strong early game right now because of the armor buffs and the lower HP over the last few patches.
And I expect that Xin Zhao to be locked in, because if that is the case, I wrote down one champion per player on the side of KG2, and no, he's going to switch back to the Jarvan, so he's not going to take the Xin. I almost got that perfect prediction for the side of KG2. Instead, they're opting for the Jarvan, which I do agree is a bit more meta. The Hecarim's actually going top, which is a safe pick for the Shyyyy. He actually likes both Hecarim, Vlad, Aatrox would have been another one. But instead, that Vlad is going to be going mid lane to MarRin, so a bit of a surprise there. They did opt for the flex. And I feel Vlad probably is the safer matchup into the Zoe. Although, as I mentioned before, I feel a lot of this game is going to be determined in the early game, and it'll be the battle between Pyromaniac's Lee Sin and Rowdey's J4.
It's really interesting, these team comp, because Jarvan with Camille, you're kind of destroying the purpose of that lockdown, because now you have two lockdowns AoE. And I would really have to see a Galio with Camille or Jarvan even. And I see the Shyyyy going with Ignite and Flash top lane instead of the cheesier Ghost Ignite Teleport. So we will be seeing abuse of Teleport by Camille, maybe down to the bot side.
I am hesitant to point this out though. Don't take these summoners for granted. It's right there. We see that last second change. There tends to be sometimes a bit of a delay when looking at this. So we are going to be seeing the Flash Teleport. Both junglers are taking Smite. We weren't going to be seeing double Flash Ignite jungle, as spectacular as that would be. That said though, 4 Ignites taken across the board. So a lot of aggression, especially in the mid and bot lanes actually.
You can definitely see Jarvan level 2 ganks are pretty deadly with the red buff, very cheesy, and Camille very easy to start the hookshot and to engage onto the Hecarim. Hecarim did take Flash for the escape and a bit more utility rather than Ghost. But however, so we could be seeing some early aggression from Jarvan. That said, Lee Sin, same deal, deadly with Ignite. So, but we would be not seeing aggression mid lane as Vladimir's weak early game champion. But I definitely want to see these junglers focus on the top lane.
As much as I want to see him focus on the top lane as well, I do know from watching KG2 play before, we did see RetroSkyes on the Zoe. Granted, that time it was against, I believe it was an Orianna and a Shyyyy jungle. But what was happening was RetroSkyes was playing very aggressive in lane, pushing up a lot. It was actually leading to very easy ganks for that Master Shyyyy to just sort of kill the Zoe over and over again. And I feel against a Lee Sin, that threat is even more so because Lee Sin has so much more of that early pressure. So if RetroSkyes gets too aggressive, pushes too far forward, could fall into that same trap that we've seen previously on stream.
Definitely, but I want to see KG2 make the plays bot lane as well to abuse their early game lead. Caitlyn, Sona, they have the harass advantage. They also have the shove advantage. I want to see Jarvan maybe hover bot, guaranteeing the free turret plating gold for the bot lane, and also just denying the Kai'Sa's mid game spike.
Yeah, I definitely sort of do agree in that regards. I feel as Canterbury's bot lane probably is the most susceptible to ganks, assuming that the Shyyyy is doing well against Slyce, but Slyce is also on that comfort pick. I think, yeah, the easier access for J4 will be both top and bot, but you also have to be careful you don't give away too much priority in mid lane during that. Rowdey's pathing has to really be on point in order to keep pace against Canterbury.
Yeah. Rakan's level 6 is actually very deadly in terms of 4 KG2's bot lane. Sona is one of the lowest starting HP, base HP champions in the game. A very simple engage by Rakan. If he lands a knock-up, Sona does not live through any forms of ganks. So it's definitely to see how this Sona will position herself. She wants to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. Just the right amount to harass Kai'Sa, deny her CS, deny her power spikes of IE, or in this case, it could be Gunsu's Rage Wave first item even. So It'd be just interesting to see how the junglers decide to path. This will be the deciding factor of this game.
Yeah, it depends whether or not we'll be looking at a early game or a late game. I feel definitely comes onto the jungle. If we do go to a late game, I do kind of prefer Canterbury College's team just because you have a little bit easier of a split push, I feel, with the Vlad, who would probably be into the Camille. I kind of like Vlad's split push a bit better in that situation. But you also have to be worried about that pick potential out of KG2. I mean, a sleepy trouble bubble into a crescendo from a Sona, that's probably going to be a dead target.
Definitely. And it would be definitely fun to see how they decide to survive, kind of for Canterbury to survive until this late game, to really start off their Vladimir, because late game Vladimir is quite deadly. He's unkillable, he's tanky, and he has lots of healing. So we also to see how the itemization gets Avarice Blade, denying the healing, Morilla Lomicon. So just itemizing and just playing the game out, macro plays, micro plays, just to seeing how the teams will go.
Not to mention a Hemoplague drop in the back line of KG2's team, and you could be looking at a wipe, especially with that Hecarim follow-up as well. Not to mention any damage that Kai'Sa's going to be able to throw out there. And I think the good thing about Canterbury is they have a strong jungler who can help them get to that late game. Lee Sin is typically very good at sort of keeping other teams down from overreaching their bounds and getting a little too far from what they want to do. We will be getting to your game shortly, however, I believe there may have been a little pause or delay. So I suppose, were these the kind of team comps, I guess, going a little bit off topic, were these the kind of team comps that you used to run back when you were playing? Or how different has the game really changed when you look at these?
I would say the ADC meta definitely changed.
Where's your game? You can finish your point, though, about the ADC meta.
The ADC meta really changed because back when we were playing, it was pretty much a Varus lock-in. Varus was the top tier ADC in any competitive game you could pull out. His whole kit was too strong, you couldn't lane against him. He had denying healing and a really good team fighting ulti.
Yes, as we're taking a look at the setup right now, I'm a little bit disappointed in Slyce. He's kind of gone straight down lane and not protecting his topside jungle, which is already being invaded by both the Shyyyy as well as MarRin. I'd like to see them get some deep wards in, but it seems they're hesitant as no one has really spotted anybody yet. Yeah, no wards are going to be placed just now. I mean, this is just a clear showcase of why, you defend your jungle.
Yeah, this is a really interesting placement for KG2. There's no 5-point defense, and we have a deep ward coming out of the Hecarim into the red buff. This gives a lot of information because now we already know that Jarvan is not starting red for the cheesy level 2 gank. This gives mid lane Vladimir a lot of space to work with.
It does, and I'm curious how Pyromaniac will actually respond with that, knowing that they won't be seeing the cheese. Maybe he'll be the one more out there trying to make that more aggressive move right now, as we're going to see bot side jungle start for each sides. I'm very curious where Pyromaniac goes. Would you think he actually might go for that level 2 gank in mid lane?
Level 2, Vladimir isn't really there to support him, but definitely if we do see a overstep for the Zoe, the Lee Sin could definitely just go in and auto attack. The Lee Sin with Electrocute, level 2 does a lot of base damage along with the red buff burn.
Yeah, it definitely has that ability, and I really, really like the warding actually coming out of Canterbury. They warded both the top side junglers right now, so they know exactly where Rowdey is. They know exactly where his pathing is going to be, so already a big advantage for the blue side in terms of pacing. They're going to be able to follow it up and look for their opportunities to strike. I'm curious how they'll take advantage of it. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with the strength of the laners in lane and making sure they don't, fall too behind, but definitely blue side advantage.
We're already seeing interesting pathing coming out of both jungles. Rowdey has decided to full clear maybe bot side and top
the
side.
The Shyyyy actually was getting very aggressive with his positioning. He went behind enemy lines in the top side, and he is quite low. Slyce looking for that opportunity to possibly get a kill. There's no ignites, but there's a flash. The Shyyyy doesn't have the burst damage to bring Slyce down near first blood for Canterbury, but 2 summoners used.
This is exactly why Hecarim top with Conqueror has been the top tier top lane for a while. The healing he gets from Conqueror with W is insane. It's really unexpected. People will go in for the all-ins, but they forget that they run out of ability cooldowns. They run out of burst, while Hecarim has the consistent Q damage to heal back up.
Slyce is actually opting not to teleport back in lane, and I'm not sure I agree with that. The Shyyyy had some corrupting pods, actually decided to stay and is relatively healed up back to full health. He should be having a significant level advantage at this side, but no, he isn't going to decide to back in the end at all. I felt like he could have had a chance to keep pushing that advantage, especially with Pyromaniac on the top side of the map.
Yeah, definitely. And Slyce already maybe deciding not to use the teleport to save for any bot potential plays, because teleport advantage in the top side is very huge in competitive games.
But what do you feel is more important, the teleport advantage or having sort of level and lane advantage? Because if the Shyyyy had teleported back to lane, he would be sitting at a constant level up over Slyce, and I feel like that would have given enough lane pressure that Slyce wouldn't have even had the opportunity to teleport bot side.
So definitely, I would have liked to see a faster shove out of the Shyyyy to force out the teleport. The wave was in the middle, so it was a just personal, I guess, choice for Slyce to teleport back or not.
We're actually taking a look at the minimap right now. There could be a bit of action happening. Rowdey is looking for a chance to possibly gank, but he's very low health, and Pyromaniac is in that tri-bush waiting. This should be your first blood, an easy kill for the jungler from Canterbury.
This sets behind Kelvin Grove too by a huge amount. Canterbury Lee Sin early game with a kill over J4. That means Lee Sin will have the free invades if his laners allow him. So currently Rowdey will be behind in tempo, and Canterbury should be very happy with his lead early game.
I feel like that was just unfortunately poor decision making and pathing coming out of Rowdey. When you're that low health and you don't know where the Lee Sin is, you shouldn't really be going into the river. There was no farm at all in that area, really. There was no reason for him not to sort of back, regroup, and then maybe look towards the bot side where he is now. As we did see, Sleepy Trouble Bubble did connect with Pyromaniac there. Obviously, there's not going to be much follow-up right now, but yeah, definitely huge advantage for Canterbury.
Yep. And it's also interesting to this bot lane, Kai'Sa is currently actually winning in the CS despite being down in HP mana and getting poked down by Caitlyn and Sona. So maybe a bit of misplays coming out from Caitlyn in those last hitting mechanics. And we're seeing
action top right now. Slyce is in a bit of trouble as here comes the Shyyyy and Pyromaniac. They have the damage. There's no flash available. An easy kill picked up on the top lane.
Very good capitalization off the fact that Slyce wasted the flash 1v1ing the...
Oh, here comes the return gank actually in the mid lane right now. Rowdey going for that flag and track. But this is what we're talking about. It's so hard to pin down to Vladimir, but when he gets hit by a Sleepy Trouble Bubble, there's an option. Paddle Star Ignite. So much damage down. One last auto gets the kill. RetroSkyes on the board.
Not respecting the Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Oh, Pyromaniac actually looking for a return, but Rowdey is still around. It should be an easy escape, though, for this Lee Sin. The damage wasn't quite there.
Reckless, RetroSkyes definitely flashed a bit early in that gank. Lee Sin did not have the burst damage to burst a 80% HP Zoe. He definitely could have turned it around with the help of his jungler.
That said, though, it wasn't RetroSkyes Popper Flash. It was the W Flash. As you can see, it is still available. So, I mean, if you have that sitting there, you might as well use it. Interesting right now, the Shyyyy very low on mana, and with minions in Slice's advantage, he's actually looking for this solo kill. Flash is still down for the Hecarim, but unfortunately, the damage is there. Pyromaniac, what happened to you? Going down underneath tower. He stayed in mid lane a little too long. Just like that, KG2 back in this game.
Just too much disrespecting the Zoe. The amount of summoners she has access to in the early game is quite an advantage. And then not respecting the flash. I mean, 2 flashes, maybe he thought Zoe wasted the flash as well, just like me.
Yeah. And right now, the way how we're looking at things, actually Tiara is going in quite aggressive. Gets that knockup, but the health bars are too high, and Pinkcoat doesn't have the mana to follow it up. Pinkcoat has been doing a good job, it appears, of like farming underneath tower, letting the bot side of KG2 push in, but you have to be like wondering right now, where is this jungle help coming bot side? Because look how far up the KG2 is. I feel like that could be an easy gank.
I definitely want Jarvan deciding to back. I definitely would have liked to see a Jarvan hover around bot side.
There is a ward in the tri-bush though, and I have been following the warding, and there has been more priority for KG2 to ward that bot side of the map, something not too surprised about. I would have liked to see J4 actually possibly even look for a tower dive. He has opted to back right now. Mid laners did roam down, but they were spotted, as well as Pyromaniac being spotted in that tri-bush as well. So both bot sides opting to back right now. MarRin, a good little side step from the Sleepy Trouble Ball. RetroSkyes still going for that poke. Items aren't really there yet, though. Only sitting on the last chapter. But he walked back into the trouble bubble, comes back up to the power star. MarRin in a lot of trouble, drops the Hemo Plague. That ultimate's not going to do much as he's trying to buy time for Pyromaniac to come up. RetroSkyes on the retreat. A good little ward hop, and here comes that damage with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, and Point Blank should stop Pyromaniac in his path, but he's going deep regardless. Fortunately, Rowdey's there, connects with the Flag Dragon. Here comes the bot side of KG2 as well. Pyromaniac on the retreat, looking for more damage and should be able to ward hop to safety.
Very interesting skirmish right there. MarRin is, again, not respecting the Sleepy Trouble Bubble coming out of the Zoe. Once again.
These trouble bubbles have been on point, and look at this power star damage. It is starting to hurt. Pyromaniac has to back away for now as KG2 takes full control of the bot side of the map with an Infernal Drake on the line.
And we do see KG2's bot lane being in the position they want. They've taken one plating. Caitlyn has got the BF sword in the first back. We definitely want more Jarvan hovers around bot. Take that first tower, free up the bot side, go top, and then help out the Slice a little bit against the Shyyyy.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much action happening in the top side right now. Everything's been happening on the bot half of the map as right now, once again, Sleepy Trouble Bubble connecting onto MarRin is able to go into his pool, but comes back up. Ignite is dropped, and that is a clean kill for RetroSkyes. Here comes the pony. The Shyyyy arriving a little bit late, does drop the ultimate, and the fear is there, but Rowdey is there for the return. RetroSkyes going under tower, a flash forward secures the kill, but the Cataclysm will hold the Shyyyy in place, so a return kill is there.
Just focus around RetroSkyes. It's good to see the Shyyyy going in for the gank onto mid, but a bit of miscommunication with MarRin. MarRin steps up, getting hit by Sleepy Bubble Trouble, pulls too early, and just a return kill, but then also very good positioning coming out of Rowdey to get that return kill.
Yeah, that said, though, taking a look at the gold, yes, it does seem as if KG2 is starting to get momentum on their side, but thanks to the farm in both the top and the mid lane, you definitely feel as if Canterbury still has a bit of a lead. It's not like they've lost too much tempo. They're ahead in gold. I'm a little bit surprised KG2 wasn't able to make a play on that Infernal Drink. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Shyyyy did roam down, so they had to react with that instead of making the play. So kudos to Canterbury for buying time. They don't lose that objective, but they did lose some lives.
Definitely, and we definitely do see top lane losing. Bot lane.
Oh, here comes an engage. That's actually an ultimate dropped by Tara, but the return crescendo connects with both. It should be an easy escape for KG2. Health bar is actually quite low. Pink Coat has to be careful, but Saeryka is not really attacking the right target. Down goes the Sona, and Pink Coat was ignited. Here comes the ace in the hole, and there's the return kill. It's now support for ADT, and Saeryka should be able to bring it down, but misses with the Q, and Tiara will escape on a sliver of health.
Quite the skirmish down bot lane. And now, with this, although KG2 not in the lead for gold, but they're definitely in the lead for momentum and team morale right now. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams right now, they do not know how much gold they have, how much the gold enemy has. So this plays on their team, again, sportsmanship, their teamwork, and their communication.
That said, this could be trouble for Rowdey. Here comes the gank, the Q from the Lee Sin connects, and that damage is there. Rowdey goes down, being invaded against, like, you don't expect to see the top laner and the jungler behind that tier 1 tower.
Definitely. So again, Rowdey, he definitely needs some help controlling his jungle right now.
It was warded.
Wow.
It was warded, so he would have been seen.
I am impressed.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely some just map awareness missing from Rowdey right now. He's behind in his jungle. He should take extra care because Lee Sin knows he's ahead. He will continue to invade.
Oh, but I'm actually surprised to see MarRin, the one who's constantly pops up. Sleepy Trouble Bubble, point blank connection. Paddlestar does a bit of damage. MarRin is still healthy enough. I don't expect to see an all-in just yet. Junglers are making their way to that mid lane. I think RetroSkyes kind of spotted it out, has retreated back underneath the tower, so nothing really happening mid lane. As we go back to bot, once again, Tiara going aggressive. Pink Coat doesn't really have the damage to follow it up right now. It's a risky play coming out of Tiara.
Lee Sin hovering mid, and Slyce actually do not have a ward in the river right now. Could be in a little bit of danger, but Jarvan is coming bot, hovering around bot side, getting the turret plating and going for the fire drake.
As once again, we actually see Saeryka kind of knocked up and knocked around by Tiara, but still coming out better. Pink Coat just has been unable to follow up with that damage. Going back to the map, though, and looking at the larger picture of things, I am happy with how Pyromaniac is going for the side of Canterbury, but KG2 has still been dictating, actually, I feel, where Pyromaniac has been appearing. The pressure on the bot side has dragged Pyromaniac more bot and mid than I feel he would like to be. Yes, he's gotten a couple kills on the top and against the jungler, but I want to see more pressure put on the Shyyyy to really become that carry that Canterbury needs right now, because more action in the bottom, the better it is for KG2.
For KG2 right now, they definitely just want to abuse currently their strongest lane, which is their bot lane right now, and mid lane.
Not much. I feel it's going to go down right there. Pool coming down a bit early. This could leave MarRin susceptible, but Pyromaniac is there to help force out a flash. That was a real flash, but he's going under the tower regardless. Beautiful kick out of the tower zone. Yes, he gets the kill. Cataclysm, though, will hold him in place, so it's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane. As this action in the top carries over as well. Slyce and Shyyyy going at it. Slyce should be able to escape, but with that minion wave, the Shyyyy could be looking at more.
Well, again, good positioning coming out of Rowdey, again, getting the return kill on the mid lane. And we definitely see Pyromaniac, he knows his mid lane struggling a little bit, he's trying to help. And beautiful insect flash kick right there, queuing the ulti before the flash to make it unflashable and unreactable.
Yeah, these cataclysms from Rowdey have been really on point right now, pinning people underneath his own tower. And, you know, that's the best way to play Jarvan from behind. You sort of capitalize on your opponents going a little too deep, making mistakes, and then holding them in that situation. Taking a look at the map, there's a bit of a kerfuffle about to go down in topside. Rowdey kind of ran straight through a ward and was looking for the Shyyyy, unable to find him this time around. In return, however, Pyromaniac is on the bot side of the map. He's clearing Krugs at the moment, looking for a chance to possibly get in there. I don't see it. Look how warded this Infernal Drake is.
It's just beautiful map control coming out of both teams, especially KG2 actually. They know their strongest side is the mid and bot, so they definitely want to go for that Inferno Drake.
Oh, here we go. Action happening on the bot side as well. Ultimate's dropped. The Crescendo actually misses as Pyromaniac shows up. Santa misses the first go down. Ignite dropped in on Saeryka. That damage should be there. Pinkcoat trying to do what he can. Does get the kill for himself. As in the mid lane, more action at the same time. Sleepy Trouble Bubble connecting onto MarRin in the top side as well. The Shyyyy is going in aggressive. Slyce decides to return the favor. A bit of a trade, but I don't feel anyone will be going down.
So right there, we do see Canterbury helping their bot lane out a little. Pyromaniac just dictating this game currently, getting some top, mid, and bot, and pretty much succeeding in every single game. He's, oh wow, very nice trades coming out of MarRin. Almost a different player compared to his early game. And now Vladimir, he did hit that level 9 power spike. He did get the.
Oh, here we go. Shyyyy actually going under tower to try and harass Slyce. He's going to turn around, but the Shyyyy is doing a good job of kind of skirting out of that tower range. He's ulting, he gets the flash, and he gets the kill. Solo kill for the Shyyyy. Meanwhile, in mid lane as well, MarRin looking for a way in. Rowdey and RetroSkyes are very low, and he has the damage from the Hemoplague. Down goes the Jarvan. Another kill for MarRin in the mid lane, and all of a sudden, Canterbury is starting to take this game over.
Oh, Pyromaniac
he has
beautiful.
it. He has the damage. Pyromaniac making sure no one gets out alive. And you have to think maybe this is that Infernal Drake, but Pyromaniac's in a bit too deep. Sentiments and Saeryka trying to run him down. There's no Crescendo available, but the damage is huge. Doesn't matter though. A kill for a kill. Jungle for support.
This is the power of lethality.
Oh, they're still going at it. Saeryka forced to burn flash, but the Shyyyy is still looking to run him down, trying to do the best job to kite, but those autos aren't doing anything. Fortunately, the tower may protect Saeryka, but MarRin still looking to get damage down. Caitlyn already at half health. Jarvan's on his way down, but I don't think Rowdey will get there in time. Shyyyy looking to re-engage. He has the burst, but a heal is used to keep Saeryka alive. Going to flush on their tower. Cataclysm is not enough to make the save. Rowdey will get the return kill, however.
Well, this game has suddenly sped up out of that slow early game by Canterbury, losing a bit of picks here and there. And with the Inferno Drake, Canterbury was actually the team who picked it up, despite the good wards coming out from Kelvin Grove. They've just made too many mistakes around the mid lane. They lost that priority, and Canterbury saw that chance and took away the Inferno.
Yeah, I think they took it away as all these skirmishes were happening in the jungle. It kind of gave them that opportunity to step up, secure that Infernal Drake for themselves, and they kind of took it right underneath Kelvin Grove's vision, because it was super warded. But now when you take a look at the vision, you can see how Canterbury has pushed it up right now. Kelvin Grove's very far forward wards are now much deeper into their own jungle. They're playing much more defensively right now, and that has to do with this sort of snowball effect, both in terms of gameplay and mentality.
Yeah, definitely. I really love the wards coming out both of these teams. These are the type of wards you want to see in a competitive game. But of course, again, focus on the bot side by both teams. You can see that.
Rowdey is on his way down right now. A good flag and drag could do damage. He does connect with the Pinko, but Tiara there, so trying to make the save. Crescendo only hits the Rakan, who will drop his ult to buy time. Actually draw out the tower port from Slyce. Ace in the hole will be blocked by Pinko, but here comes Slyce trying to drop that ultimate. They're going for the tower dive. Flag and drag connects with 2. Rowdey is low. Rowdey will go down. Tiara actually is the one who goes down. Rowdey was the one picking up the kill. And huge damage coming out of RetroSkyes. Not enough to take down Pinko, and with 5 men being brought to the bot side, they will be getting first tower.
But a very good response also coming out of Canterbury. They saw the engage going to the bot. They went straight top for that Rift Herald.
There's sort of like a joke I've noticed within games. Rift Herald always seems to be that consolation prize. If something's going bad in one of those lanes, you know what? Well, at least we'll get Rift Herald, right?
Yeah, but you definitely wanted to use Rift Herald for the first turret gold and to get that early turret playing. So Rift Herald's a bit slow and it's not the best replacement in terms of all that pressure that has been released off bot lane.
Yep. Ooh, Sleepy Trouble was not connecting there. Rift Herald actually not dropped yet. It seems pretty good that the Shyyyy was able to bring it down without the use of Shelly. So they still have that Rift Herald waiting when they need. Who picked it up?
I believe. Hecarim.
Oh, it was dropped. Okay, it was just dropped now. I was looking for it. Meanwhile, mid, there's a lot of action going down. Saeryka was actually the one who was picked out. Pyromaniac trying to get to the back line. Is unable to connect with the Q, but that's okay because they're able to bring down RetroSkyes. It's only Septimus left, and this poor Sona, as you said, the lowest base health in the game, should be easy to bring down. A double kill for MarRin, and that will be mid tower as well. Rowdey making his way up, might try to go for the heroic defense. I don't see it happening. Mid tower goes down, and the pressure continues. Slyce walking straight into the Shyyyy, and here comes that damage. Nope, not enough for the kill, but Pyromaniac thinks he has Rowdey. The Q connects, and over the wall he will go. It's an easy kill for the Lee Sin, and mid-tower tier 2 will go down as well. Canterbury are starting to look to try and end this game, it seems.
Well, Pyromaniac just good plays all around for him.
Oh no, Slyce stayed a little bit too far up. The Ignite is dropped and down he goes. The Shyyyy picking up another kill. It is just kill after kill right now for Canterbury. The push continues. This mid tower is quite low as another wave hits. TR has to be in trouble though. RetroSkyes has the damage, looking for that last battle star, but a minion body blocks it and they escape on the sliverest of healths.
Beautiful teamwork coming out of Canterbury, pushing their advantages. They're getting catches one after one, which is the fight they want. They're not too good at team fights. They are strong, but Vladimir hasn't reached that late game yet, and Kai'Sa has not reached the 2-item power spike. They're getting that just 4-on-1 picks, 3-on-1 picks that they want to have, and they're just pushing the advantages, pushing all the way up to the mid. Now they could be looking forward to getting inhibitor even.
Yeah, and it's what we said at the start of the game. Like, they need the help from Pyromaniac on that Lee Sin to get them to this late game, and so far he has done an exceptional job. When you have the more scaling team comp, at best you want to be going even. Instead, they are pulling ahead. Yes, it's all on Pyromaniac, who may drop off later, but that's okay, because as he starts to drop off, you have both MarRin and Pinkcoat there to pick up the slack. As a Sleepy Trouble Ball connecting onto Pinkcoat, though, he shut down for Saeryka, and that's something that this Caitlyn needed.
Again, not respecting the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Zoe Sleeping Bubble Trouble, it has the deceptive range of going through walls, surprising you through corners. Now, also, I love this itemization coming out from the Lee Sin. He knows he's not the strongest late game champion. Why not go all in, go full AD, and get that early game lead, especially when KG2 is running such a squishy team comp.
Yeah, and I like the Hex Drinker pickup as well, because it feels like a lot of KG2's aggression has come out of RetroSkyes. Meanwhile, a bit of action right now. RetroSkyes might be the one who's caught out. Beautiful play by the Shyyyy to knock him back into the team. It's an easy kill, and they want more. Crescendo connects with 3. MarRin trying to chase down, leading that hunt. A good little flash ward hop from Pyro, and unfortunately he's unable to take it underneath the tower. Shyyyy still looking for it, actually.
They do get the advantage of one more Dragon for the team of Canterbury. Now, you just see Kelvin Grove is not really doing anything to stop the bleeding. They're too behind right now. They need to stop picking their fights. They need to find the defense on the tower and not go out of the tower range.
Well, it's hard to not find these fights when the Shyyyy is playing so far up and aggressive. Septimus on his own. You don't want to be a Sona on your own. Once again, they get a pick and the dragon at the same time.
It's just really poor positioning coming out of KG2, and again, they should be taking the fights very slowly now. They do not want to get engaged on unless it's a bad turret dive. They want to get picks, but they're the ones getting picked. I want to see this team just regroup and restart their mentality and slowly try to stall the game out.
Yeah, I feel like composure is hurting them. Sleepy Trouble connecting on to MarRin, however, asleep in a bad spot. The follow-up damage will be there. Another shutdown for Saeryka, and this is very good for this Caitlyn. They are getting kills, and they are keeping up in farms, so I feel as if this can continue for KG2, there may be a way back into it. Another Sleepy Trouble Bubble connects. Here comes that Paddle Star. The damage, we don't actually get to see how much it is. I would assume if it had connected, it would have been huge. It looks like it did miss.
Yeah. So, RetroSkyes, insane this game coming with the Sleepy Bubble Trouble, pretty much helping his team with these picks. So right now, what KG2 needs to do to stop the bleeding, play around the Zoe, play around the Sleepy Bubble Trouble, get that pick one at a time, fight the 5v4s, or just keep getting picks 1-1 and slowly come back into the game.
Yeah, I want to see more adaptability, especially because you should know by now, Canterbury likes to send both Pyromaniac and the Shyyyy deep into the jungle and look for picks that way. So get some wards in yourself. I like what they've done on the bot side of the map. They need to do this on the top side as well and punish these deep sort of invades coming out of the Hecarim and the Lee Sin. Yes, they're fed. Yes, they're ahead, but they are killable. They've gone pretty much pure damage, both of them. And with RetroSkyes being as he is right now, he has a Lune's Echo, he has a Sheen, he has this damage. Get those picks and then look for the fights.
And we've seen that Canterbury, knowing their advantage, has shifted their attention into the Baron pit, looking for that Baron. And both teams knowing this, rotating towards the top side. I would like to see maybe, Teleport is coming out for Slyce. He needs to get that farm coming back a little bit. He's not even finishing a Triforce, whereas the Shyyyy has finished Youmuu's Ghostblade, which is a very aggressive choice on Hecarim, and Triforce, which is the main power spike.
I mean, that Youmuu's Ghostblade being used to help run down members of KG2, like we've seen so many times this game. I'm not surprised. It does fit with how the Shyyy's been playing this game. Voidseeker doing a bit of damage to Saeryka, but not as much as I would have liked. Baron Vision has been cleared right now, as KG2 is still trying to play this Baron dance, but they're playing it so deep in their own jungle. Pyromaniac almost caught with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, able to escape right now. A little bit of a Death Bush setup, but I don't think KG2 is willing to step far out of like the safety of their side of the map.
Definitely a good, Baron game back and forth coming out from both teams, denying vision, gaining vision. However, it's a bit dangerous to see Septimus 49, the Sona, walking in, face checking in the brush. A bit dangerous for this Sona right now. Maybe let the Jarvan do the job, let the Camille do the job.
Yeah, something else I want to take note right now is once again, teams are still trying to posture. Canterbury has both top and bot wave pushing in their favor as action comes out. Pyromaniac is sniping down Septimus, and the team follow-up is there. It is kill after kill. 3 members down for KG2, and they want more. Poor Slyce has to try and flash to get away with the ultimate, is unable to escape the MarRin, and that is nearly an ace. Rowdey, last person left, gets the Cataclysm on 2, but he is not going to survive the might of Canterbury. There is your ace. There is an inhibitor. This might even be game.
This could be game, definitely. His respawn time is not too long right now, but Canterbury can still keep fighting. Vladimir just keeps healing. And, heal used by Pinkcoat out of nowhere.
They want to look for the game. That's right. They're going to try and stay healthy and get what they can. They have a Sona up. Saeryka is open 5 seconds as well. But what can Septimus do against 4 members strong? MarRin's able to zone, and Sona's too afraid to leave the base. The first Nexus tower goes down. The second might be next to follow. Ignite has been dropped on this Caitlyn to hold her back. Pinkcoat doing so much work, and the second Nexus tower may go down. Pyromaniac was ignited. That is also a little bit of a pick onto the Rakan. He got executed, actually. Crescendo missions MarRin, who somehow stays alive. Take a look at the bot side of the map. They're trying to run members down as MarRin doing so much work before going himself. Pinkcoat, last member alive for Canterbury, trying to escape from both Slyce and RetroSkyes, but the damage is there. That is another kill. And in the end, the Shyyyy, who snuck out earlier, is the last person left alive for Canterbury, but this could be a Baron for KG2.
This is the classic overstaying after gaining an advantage. They looked to end, but they didn't have the damage. They don't have a Mountain Drake. They don't have the ADC right now to hit it.
Yeah, we have a teleport still available for the Shyyyy and an exposed Nexus, so they have to be careful when starting this Baron. Fortunately for KG2, they don't have any wards in their base that they need to be careful of, and they have sort of sent Slyce to stay back and defend. Instead, the Shyyyy is actually looking for this Baron steal right now. He doesn't quite have vision, but he's still going to run anyways. Ultimate is dropped, and pop goes the Rowdey. So with no jungler, I feel as if KG2 has to try and retreat. Yes, the Shyyyy goes down, but here comes Tiara, and they're looking to try and get it. In the end, it will be Baron secured for the red side, although it was a double kill by the Shyyyy before he goes. I'm sorry, that's not Baron yet. Yeah. That was a double kill. My mistakes right now. And it actually looks as if KG2 won't be able to get the Baron. Pyromaniac just bursting down character after character. Skylar tried to turn around and get Pyromaniac down, but the burst again brings down the Caitlyn. Down goes the Camille as well. There is another ace. There is an exposed Nexus with super minions aiding it. That will be the game.
Just a bit of slow in terms of the reaction speed of KG2, their decision making, shot calling. When they got that ace, they should have instantly ran for the Baron, tried to take it, but instead they hesitated. But out of respect for the Shyyyy, it's possible to backdoor. So overall, a good clean gameplay coming out of Canterbury. A little bit of shakiness at the end.
Well, maybe we're not done right now. Here comes that last chance defense. MarRin has arrived though, dropped that Hemoplague, helped secure the kill onto Rowdey, and no one else can leave that fountain. Yes, the Shyyyy gets shut down by Septimus, but it does not matter. Nexus goes, and Canterbury secures a top 5 finish.
Great gameplay coming out of Canterbury, showing their confidence in this final game, showing a lot of aggression early, aggression mid lane, and overall playing the macro and micro game very well.
Yeah, they definitely seemed to be mostly in control of that game. There were some little bits towards the middle, I feel like, when they kind of went away from their strengths and started focusing more on bot lane, where they were letting themselves get picked a bit. But at the end of the day, they still were able to bring back the focus where it is, and that is on the Shyyyy and Pyromaniac diving deep, getting that deep vision, getting pick after pick after pick, get themselves advantages, start to steamroll team fights, and win the game that way. Beautifully done by Canterbury.
And then MarRin getting a bit shaky in the early game, losing to Zoe, not expecting the damage. But once the mid game hit, he was on top form, getting the picks, going on the backline, one-shotting carries, getting the picks on Sona and Caitlyn. So overall, just the laners of Canterbury definitely outclassing the KG2 a little bit here.
I mean, you do have to give some credit though to KG2 as well. RetroSkyes on that Zoe, very on point mechanically. Those sleepy trouble bubbles were their supposed out because they were connecting time and time again. Yeah. And also on the bot side as well, Sakura did a very good job on that Caitlyn. Like, the damage was there. They were getting, critical kills, critical hits. Septimus, for the most part, the crescendos, some of them were very on point. There was a few 3-4-man crescendos, but there was also the 1 or 2 that missed, and I feel like those misses were the ones that happened at the most critical moments.
Yeah, and again, bot lane off KG2, they played very well early game. They got all the turret plating, they did not give up a single turret plating. They got the first tower for KG2 as well. But what we didn't see was the transition for bot lane to rotate to top lane, help out Slyce, out Slyce a little bit, freeing him to farm a bit, because he's definitely not going to win 1v1s against this Hecarim.
No, and I also would have liked to see KG2 sort of transition that bot lane into more neutral objectives as well. They had control of that Infernal Dragon vision-wise for a solid 7 minutes. And they just were unable to bring it down. In fact, they actually lost it by getting invaded despite their vision. So I feel, KG2 in the future definitely needs to look more at taking down some of these neutral objectives a bit more, playing the map a bit better, and maybe playing to their team composition a bit more as well. That said, they're not out. With that loss, they haven't secured their top 16 playoff yet. So they will be playing next week in a tiebreak. So we will be having more games for you next week. It's not as if the end of season means end of broadcast, and we're not going straight into the playoffs just yet. There will be a tiebreak next week as we're going to go into some of our replays right now. I believe this was the fight that really blew the game open for Canterbury.
Yeah, over here we see, remember, we said KG2 need to stop this bleeding. They need to hide in their base. They do not want to walk out. And right there, we do see a bit of aggression coming at KG2, walking to the second tier mid tower, getting the picks, moving out of their base, which is exactly what Canterbury needed to open up the game.
But then they stayed too long, and this is when things got crazy. KG2, the desperation play to try and keep themselves alive, and Canterbury staying a bit too long to get that last Nexus tower down. Look at those low health bars. Fortunately for Canterbury, the Shyyyy did actually recall, and that led to them to contest the Baron later. But yeah, I mean, this is a life lesson. Don't stay too long, right?
Yeah. Don't stay too long. Don't greed. Get the advantages you can, back up, buy your items, reset, and then get more advantages. Just a rinse and repeat. You don't want to give anything while you're gaining advantages.
Yeah, and kudos to the Shyyyy for that one, being the one who actually did that and actually kind of saved the game. I'm not going to say, KG2 would have brought back and won, but it definitely helped keep the nail in that coffin. He didn't pry it out and sort of stab it into his own foot like possibly the rest of his team did. But I guess going on from that as well, when choosing an MVP, it's hard because I'm looking at both Pyromaniac and the Shyyyy. I think I want to lean towards Pyromaniac because so much of the team comp revolved around him showing up, and he did show up. But honorable mention to the Shyyyy for how strong he was playing, especially later into the game when he was getting those deep invades.
I will actually give my MVP to RetroSkyes. His Zoe was on point in the early game. We could have seen a lot more potential coming out of KG2 if they played around the Zoe. I feel his Zoe was on point, getting the early picks, shutting down even the Lee Sin, for example, early game when his team needed to shut down Lee Sin the most. So overall, good gameplay coming out of both teams, but the solo laners coming out of Canterbury just kind of snatched the win.
Can you give MVP to a losing team? Is that something that's allowed? I believe if you go to op.gg, they call them the ace. So yeah, RetroSkyes, I do agree 100%, was the ace for KG2. Did a good job. Also a bit of an honorable mention for Rowdey. It wasn't the best game out of the J4, but he did come up with some clutch plays during that early and mid game. A lot of cataclysms trapping people underneath towers, specifically Pyromaniac when he'd go for those deep dives, and then kind of got punished a little bit. That said, we're not done yet. We actually are going to be having an interview, I believe, with one of the players from Canterbury as well, similar to what we saw before. I believe we might be seeing a return of Pinkcoat, actually, so the AD carry will be back just to have a little chat about how that game went.
So he will share some communications with the team, how they decided to play the game out, and overall a great performance coming out of Canterbury, just giving the tournament their statement of the game.
And I think this is really exciting to see out of Canterbury as well, because this was the exact sort of clean performance that we saw with them, that we saw similar to Chisholm. Because Chisholm as well, around the same point in the game when we saw them against KG2, sort of all right, you know what, we're ahead right now, we can push our advantages, let's end this game. Canterbury did the same thing, and if Canterbury does want to prove themselves as a top team, like a contender going into the playoffs, this is the performance that you need. This shows us, all right, they're up there at the same level as some of these top teams. And I mean, we knew that was probably the case because of their close losses in the past, but it's good to actually see it on camera and understand, okay, this is definitely a quarterfinal team, I feel like, maybe even a semifinal team. It depends how they perform. I'm really excited for the quarterfinals because there are easily 7 or 8 teams that are super strong. And that's further why this win is that important, because if they get into the 4th or 5th seed, that means they're going to be not against, KG4 or not against the Colors. They're going to be against someone a little bit weaker than one of those tournament favorites, and they have a chance to go deep in this playoff run.
Definitely, to even further improve their gameplay, training up and scrimming until the grand final even, versus the good teams.
As we are about to bring Pinkcoat right on back after a fantastic performance. Thank you very much for running down here from that esports room. It's a bit of a trip. So how does it feel? How did that game feel for you guys?
At the beginning, it's a little bit tough because the opposite ADC choosing the Catherine, but I think I did really well to undertake the pressures that the opposite team trying to make my line get lost, but I think everyone is doing really well this time.
Definitely seeing top performers coming out of your jungler Pyromaniac. How did you guys go about, in the game?
Actually this time, I'm doing more sacrifice. That I told the jungle keep more helping to the top and the mine, because I'm choosing Castle, which is I have only list target when I'm doing when we doing group fighting. So yeah, so the main focus of this game is on the top and the mid.
Yep,
That's great.
And I think that's something that actually really reflected well on how you guys were playing, because from the casting perspective, we were able to recognize, okay, they're playing around the top, and then once we got to that mid game, once your top and jungle were ahead, that's when you started getting the deep wards in, that's when you started getting the picks. Something else that I want to note, it was about 13 minutes into the game, we each noticed that KG2 had complete vision around that Infernal Drake, but never were able to capitalize on it. And then a couple skirmishes happened in their jungle, and you guys sort of snuck through and took that Drake. Whose call was that?
I forget who, but I think we both predict they have the strategy maybe on here. This little bit tricky point, and this little bit small trap for us, but. Actually, we don't follow the we don't follow the strategy, so that's
more instinct than
So good calls coming out, securing the Inferno Drake, which is very crucial for a team comp with such heavy scaling like yours. And I would definitely like to go to your Kai'Sa, because we saw you play quite passive early game, but still maintaining that farm, getting that CS count in, and then in the mid game we saw some help coming from Lee Sin, getting that early advantage. How did you think you transitioned into the mid game?
It doesn't, for me, it doesn't doing too much thing. I'm just follow my leaders order. Like, as I said before the competition, like the most important thing for our team is communication. And for this long time practicing, we are doing really well. So we just need one voice. When the game has a different way to go, we listen to the right thing, we're doing the right, so we win the game, we take them.
Going back to the start of the game, picks and bans. Now, I don't know how well you can read my handwriting here, but I sort of wrote down like predictions of what I thought we were going to see in this one. And KG2 got 4 of their comfort picks. Now, was this a decision like, we're going to let them have their comfort picks and punish them for it? Or was it sort of like, you saw something else in their gameplay and we're like, it's okay if they take that, we'll still be able to beat them?
It's the second one.
Yeah,
because actually, we don't doing too much thing about the service to make sure what's champion they play really well. We just bring the most favorite champion in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely showed with that pick and ban. It seemed like each team were able to get their comfort picks and like who they wanted. And then it really, for us, it was a bit of a treat because it turns into just like, all right, both teams are playing at their full strength. Let's see them go at it. And then you made it look very easy. There was one flaw that happened in your game, and I think you might know what I'm talking about. Towards the end, you got both Nexus towers down, but then stayed a little bit too long. And it almost looked like an opening for KG2. Now, whose call was that to end?
It's me.
It was your call.
It's me. I thought we can just push. It was really strange in my mind that why we don't just push in the end? We finish this game. I want home. I'm hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking at that moment. But but actually,
and that's why you used the heal to keep it going.
Yeah, keep going. But I saw the 2 champions, the Camille and Zoe, was tracking me. Oh my god, I'm just down here.
Okay, so now here's my next question. Do you think you could have ended if the Shyyyy didn't recall back to base while the rest of you kept pushing?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Because he definitely turned around. Fortunately,
he's even more riskless than me.
I mean, so once
made the safe call, recalled, and secured you guys that Baron, denying the enemy the Baron and just closing out the game, which is a good call by his part.
It was a good call by his part, indeed. We gave our thoughts on who we felt the MVP should be. Who do you think really was the star for your team today? If you had to pick one person, I know instinct says, oh, everyone did great.
I think this time is Jungle, because
at
the beginning we are lying. When the time of line of the opposite team is not really easy, and actually they also play really well. But our team, the Jungle, Lee Sin, has like the trigger that make our line can be more easier, can release the stress when we are lying with opposite.
Alleviating the pressures of your laners.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Congratulations again on your win. And advancing, I mean, it's a guaranteed top 5 finish, I believe, seeding-wise. So you guys are going to be one of the teams to beat, probably in the semifinals if you keep up that good play. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Hoping to see you again at Chanel Theatre once we get later into this tournament. That said, I'd like to give one last thank you to the University of Queensland as well for helping us put on events such like this, to all the teams, players, and spectators as well who have been watching and supporting these teams. It's been a fun season, but starting next week, it's do or die time. Tiebreakers coming out there. Week 11, you win, you advance, you lose, you could be done. So please come back next week. It'll be the same time, same Twitch channel at UQU Esports. I am Max Formal von Neumann, joined today by 99.95 ATAR and Pinkcoat. Once again, congratulations on that win.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.